So, what are steps to becoming financially free from debt? First, always have a written plan as a couple with your children and start teaching them from the beginning to have a written plan. Don't do things ad hoc. There must always be a plan. It has to be intentional. Nothing should be done without thinking about it. It is absolutely necessary to have a plan. It is absolutely necessary to have a discussion with your children, your wife, husband, and children. Sit down and have a table with 3 columns for each one. Let everybody be able to identify what their needs are, what their wants are, and what their desires are. Teach the children to learn that right from now, to be able to look at things around them and differentiate what are needs, what are wants, and what are desires. And if you do that, you'll be able to cut a lot of spending, and then you always have money to save. You can read 1 John chapter 2 verse 15 to 16. If someone can open that. 1 John chapter 2 verse 15 to 16. Amen. It spells it out clearly. What do we love? What do we want? What do we need? What are our desires? What influences them? Your lifestyle. So for me, I will not accept the excuse that I don't have enough money to save. If you follow this verse and you practice it as a child of God, you will know that there are certain things. Listen, I'll tell you a story. We were living in the US, and then there is a guy whose wife has been badging him every day. Valentine's Day, you didn't buy anything for me. Mother's Day, you didn't buy anything for me. It's my birthday, you didn't buy. It's Christmas. She wanted a gift each of these days. So the guy has been buying. And the guy has bought her to the point where I think she realized that he doesn't want to spend money on those again. You know what he did? Most of the states in the US will have basements. So on Valentine's Day, when he realized that it's approaching 3 days to that time, he went to the basement, went to pick one of the bags, came, wrapped it so nicely, and gave it to the wife on Valentine's Day. And she could not notice it. She didn't even know. Then on Christmas, she goes, picks a shoe and bring it, wrap it so nicely and give it to the wife. And they had peace at home. The barging stopped. There was peace at home. All of a sudden, he was the most sweetest husband in the world. Are you getting the moral of the story? What's the difference between needs and wants and desires? There was a study done in the UK that said that most ladies do not use more than 30% of the equipment in their kitchen. And this same person will tell you that I don't have enough resources to save. Oh, by the time I get my pay, there is nothing left to save. Meanwhile, 30% of the things in your gadgets in your kitchen, you don't touch them. If you have a cloth or a bag and for 3-4 months you haven't opened it, you don't need anything in there. There are so many victims in this room. You don't need it. 4 months you've not opened that particular suitcase to touch what is in there. You don't need it, please. If we do that table and really use this Bible to decide what is our needs, our wants, and our desires, let's see the impact it will have on our finances. And let's teach our children to do exactly the same. Our children, let's teach them right from this age. When they come back from school, or it's back to school time, walk with them. Tell them, decide what you want. I'm struggling with my children. When we are traveling, I always want to make sure that if we are traveling for we're going to stay for 2 days, don't take a big suitcase. They will take a huge suitcase and not touch 80% of the things in the suitcase. Maybe you can take a very small one and go and come and you're okay. They will carry the whole suitcase. Sometimes they will even have excess luggage. And you pay for it. And then you say you don't have money to save. But that's when you start teaching them how to be prudent. Hello? Living essentials. A Christian in debt must stop any expenditure which is not absolutely essential for living. So that's what I'm saying. Ask yourself, is it essential for me to live? We have to think before we buy. Everything I've said, I'm just repeating. Because if you haven't touched more than 60% of the things in your kitchen, maybe we didn't think about it before we bought. Let's start thinking about it before we buy. We are fortunate enough in Ghana, we don't have a lot of credit buying. Or it's still here. It's coming, eh? Please, that's where the trouble starts. Buy today and pay tomorrow. It's disaster. It's a setup. It's a trap. By the time you realize you've bought a lot and then you start paying and you are in big trouble. That's where the trap is to get you into debt. And if you want to have financial freedom, discourage that. Rather save the money and go and buy it. If you want to get a camera, go and look for the price, save the money, and go to the shop, pick the camera, and quickly leave the shop. That's how I shop. I sit at home. My first trip, I'll go and scan the shop and see what I want. So I know the shop, where the item is, on which shelf it is, which corner it is. When I have the money, you can ask. I don't spend more than 15 minutes at the mall. I get out of my car, walk straight, pick it, straight back into my car. And I'm off until my next purchase, which doesn't happen very often. But some people do what they call window shopping. They start feeding the soul. They look at the things and then they feed the eyes and it goes into the soul and then they are sitting down. The next moment you have space on your credit card, you go and soup and come and put them at home. And you don't even touch them. And then you say you don't have money to save. And then your kids are going to school and you cannot pay school fees. Remember, if you cannot meet the needs of the family, you are in debt. And as long as the child lives with you, it's your responsibility to pay their fees. Please, let's teach our children to start practicing savings. Anything they get, let them save something out of that. It doesn't matter whether it's 2 Ghana cedis or 5 Ghana cedis, 10 Ghana cedis. Let them save. If you save 10 Ghana cedis a month, within a year you have 120 Ghana cedis for the child. If they can save 20 Ghana cedis a month, they have 240 Ghana cedis. If they start saving by the time they are in first grade, by the time they finish JSS 3, can you tell me how much money they have? They can pay for all their SSS. Because you are talking about how many years? 6 plus 3, 9. So if it's 300 Ghana cedis a year times 9, we are talking about what? 27,000 Ghana cedis. Or 2,700. 2,700 Ghana cedis. How much is the school fees for SSS every year? 600 and something Ghana cedis. 700. Until the free tuition came. It was 600, 700 to go to SSS. And your child already has 2,700 Ghana cedis in their bank account. How many years of SSS tuition can they pay? So there's nothing that is too small. But I will also emphasize that as you teach them how to save, also teach them how to tithe. Because everything we do is blessed by God. And we know the blessings that come from tithing. There's so much controversy about tithing, but I still believe in it. So teach them how to do that. And then let us avoid indulgence. And let's start with our children. Let's teach our children not to indulge themselves. Let's teach them to live within their means. If you want to set a boundary for indulgence, to know that you are not indulging yourselves. If you want to set a boundary within which you want to lead your lifestyle as adults, to know that you are not indulging yourself. Let's look at, can I get two people? Someone will read Luke chapter 9 verse 23 and another person John 6:27. These are the boundaries. The Luke 9 is the lower boundary and the John 6 is the upper boundary, within which should be your comfort zone. Luke chapter 9 verse 23. And then John 6:27. Yes. Deny yourself, your lifestyle. Deny yourself. Get the minimum. Your lifestyle should be consistent with what Christ expects from you. And take up your cross and follow him. That is what God expects from us as children of God. Then John 6:27. On the lower part, deny yourself. On the other part, when you're working hard, your focus shouldn't be on what? Things that perish. So if you want to have a lifestyle that will give you freedom from debt, freedom from financial difficulties, your lifestyle should fall within this. Can we all check our lifestyles and ask ourselves whether we are in this range? What motivates our financing?